Listen up, Baldy.
You're bald too.
That's besides the point. Lian Li just dropped their LANCOOL 217 case, and we're going to take a look at it.
Let's do it. Hand it over.
So the LANCOOL 217 is available in black for $120 USD or available in white for $125 USD. And it's got these wooden accents going all the way around. We've got a glass side panel. We have a mesh panel down here. The front is completely mesh. The top is mesh. The back panel is mostly solid, but we do have some mesh down here as well. Here is the rear of the case. Got our motherboard sits right here, our rear fan, PCIe slots, PSU goes here. Then we do have a power plug, and I'll explain this a little bit later. The I/O for the case is down here. We've got a USB-C, two USB-A, a combo audio jack, and the power button. But we also have an additional power button up top. So depending on where your PC is positioned, you have multiple power buttons. So that's really interesting. All the panels are toolless removal, really easy to take apart, except for the side panel, which has one captive screw. So let's go ahead and take the panels off and look at the inside. So let's go ahead and start off with the front of the case. So we've got two pre-installed 170mm fans in a position Lian Li calls GPU mode. So this mode is apparently better for GPU cooling. You can see the bottom fan sits a little bit lower, so we'll maybe get a little bit more air into the PSU shroud and then into our bottom fans. But what you can do is it's got these little brackets right here, or little pieces that are removable. So let's remove one. So you can remove this one and that one, and then you can position these two fans up one into a position Lian Li calls CPU mode, which I'm assuming is better for air cooling. So that's really interesting. You can run 140mm and 120mm fans if you want to, but you have to use these included brackets. So you'd remove the front fans, and then you'd position one right here, and then the other one over here. And then if you're running 120s, they'll sit probably like right about there. And then if you're using 140s, they'll sit about right there. They have these two holes that you use to position them depending on which fans you're running. And one interesting thing is there is a dust filter for the front, but it's not pre-installed. So if you're worried about dust, you can use this dust filter for the front fans. So let's go ahead and move to the bottom of the case. So we've got two pre-installed 120mm fans, and you can fit an additional 120mm fan over here when you remove this little piece. But if you leave this piece in, you can install a 2.5-inch SSD. And it comes with this included bracket right here, which I thought was interesting. And if we go ahead and install this, so this sits right about here. So if we put this in, it sits right there. And then you can actually use these two fans underneath right here. So they would be sitting below the PSU shroud. So that's pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and remove this if I can. We've got a pre-installed 140mm fan in the rear, but you can use 120mm fans with these inner slots right here. It's got a built-in GPU sag bracket, which is adjustable. You can go up and down, or you can move this piece over to this side over here. You can fit up to eATX size motherboards, and you can also fit SSI EEB boards. But I'm not gonna get into that too much because I think that's a pretty niche audience for that kind of thing. And you can fit back connect boards. We've got a bunch of cable grommets right here for all of our cable management. Let's take a look at the back real quick. Took a look at this a little bit earlier. Our PCI slots can be flipped 90 degrees for a vertical GPU mount. We have these 4 screws you can remove, so you can vertically mount your GPU, but it does not come with a riser cable. You'd have to purchase that separately. You can fit up to 3 120 millimeter fans on the top, or a 360 millimeter radiator. Taking a look at the back, we do have a pre-installed fan controller, which all the fans are currently hooked up to. Sorry, my camera's not focusing really well. We've got all of our I/O connections, like USB 3.0, USB-C, front panel connector. Both the power buttons are connected to one front panel connector. Looks like we've got a lot of room for cable management. And then the last thing is the power supply can be mounted in 2 different positions. So you can plug it in straight this way, so your switch and the plug are on this side. Then you can use this extension cable which plugs into your PSU, and then your PSU power cable plugs into here, or you can remove this bracket right here and mount it like a traditional power supply. So I don't know which way I'm going to do right now, but there's multiple options to mount the PSU. Trying to see if there's anything else I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, we've got 2 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch cages that you can install down below at the bottom right here. We've got 2 slots right here for both of these. And then we've also got the box with all of our screws, motherboard, PSU, additional fan screws, hard drive, everything is included in here. But I think that's about it, and I think it's time for the build. And the build is all done, and I think it looks absolutely awesome. And I mainly went with these fans because I think the subtle white lighting does bring out the wood accents quite a bit, and I think it looks good. But if I wanted to, I can turn all the RGB off for a fully blacked out look. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And here it is with all the RGB turned off. And I actually think I might like it more with the RGB off, but let me know what you think down in the comments. Let's turn this around. Not much to see. Fans barely appear visible behind the mesh. Just a really clean looking build and really classy. So let's go ahead, take off these panels and look at the inside. And here are all the components inside the build. A nice blacked out build with an Asus B850, got an Asus Tough Gaming 9070 XT, which I think fits the theme really well. We've got one of my favorite AIOs right now because it's so simple and it's super cheap. This is the Montech Silent Flow 360. And then all of the fans are the Lian Li TL wireless. And I love these because cable management with them is so much easier than pretty much any fan on the market. Just one cable per fan group. And then this is the RGB controller. It just plugs into a USB port. So super easy for all the cable management nuts out there, although they are a bit pricey. So really clean looking build. Really like how this one turned out. Let's take a look at the cable management because for me, this is always the star of the show and where I spend most of my time. In this case, was really easy with cable management. Kind of got everything tied together. Motherboard's going up right there into the motherboard. We've got my CPU cables going up and all the way around. This PSU, the CPU cables are unbelievably long, so I kind of had to route them the long way. And then the GPU cables are down here, and let me get a little bit of light on this. They're sitting right there. I've just got them zip tied all together and just kind of out of the way. You can hardly see them when you're looking from here. So it came out really clean. Really happy with the cable management on this build. And I think it'll be really cable management friendly for first-time builders out there too. So really clean build. Love how it looks. Case was pretty easy to build in. I would recommend reading the manual because there's a lot of little nuances that you have to look out for, especially depending on your fan size. With the bottom ones, certain thicknesses use different screws to hold them in. So if you're planning on looking at this case, just read through the manual. Although I know most people don't, but easy case to build in, looks great. I think it would fit my theme really well with these wood accents and then my wood tabletop. So what do you guys think down in the comments? Let me know. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment what you think. And then I'll see y'all in the next video.